What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about a Crash Bandicoot movie that never was. Now, this is disappointing, as many things Crash Bandicoot recently have been. I've talked about my love and my appreciation, just how much Crash means to me. Okay, it was the first game I ever played, was Crash Bash, and my very early childhood was literally dominated with the Crash trilogy, Crash Bash, Crash Team Racing. Like, that was it. That's really all I played from the ages of like 4 to 6 or 7. So, it means the world to me. It will always be one of the most important franchises of my life in anything. And look, granted, this is a weird one because this is actually, I believe, way back in the day. This is not something that happened like very recently. So this comes from GameSpot, which again paints the picture. Studios shot down a Crash Bandicoot movie, says Sega of America's CEO. And you could say, well, what does Sega of America's CEO has to do with this? So he actually was a former Sony executive. So there's the connection. This isn't just a random guy where it's like, oh, I pitched a Crash movie, but I work for Sega, which doesn't make any sense. No, he worked for Sony at the time. So he said, when I started to get involved in the video game business, I picked up Crash Bandicoot and started asking some of the movie studios if they were interested in turning that property into a movie, but I was treated like, hey, video games is like a toy business. They didn't really take it seriously. And this is all pretty funny because, again, Sega CEO here, and you have Sonic, and Sonic is freaking destroying it, crushing it in all the best ways in the box office, right, and doing really well. Now, again, we don't really know how far back we're going. We're probably going, pre-2010. We're probably going in like the mid-2000s. Would it have worked? The answer is you don't really know. The odds of a gaming adaptation working in the early to mid 2000s would have been extremely low. That was actually the era of some pretty okay movies turned into games, right? Like, we had a lot of trash, but we had a lot. That was like the golden era of where you had some, when Star Wars Episode 3 or Lord of the Rings and many of the classic examples people will bring up, right? You actually did have Shrek. I think Shrek 2 specifically, phenomenal freaking video game. You had a lot. You had a good amount of games that really, really worked. Then they all died, and then they kind of came back. Now they're almost exclusively pure trash, but they were kind of always trash, except there was some good ones here and there. Going the other way, it's tough because, Sonic is one that proves that it can work. You can look to The Last of Us, at least season 1. You can look to Fallout. You can look to Twisted Metal. We've had some success, but we've also had some pretty big failures. Last of Us season 2 seems to be mixed from people. Halo, I mean, that's one personally I can attest to. Dear Jesus Christ, no thank you. There's been Assassin's Creed back in 2017, 2016. For every good one, there's been at least one mediocre to bad one, Uncharted, etc., etc. So, it's no guarantee, and it was probably even less of a guarantee back then. But I wanted to bring it up just because, does it get any worse? We've talked about just the poor state that Crash Bandicoot is in. I talk about it all the time. Crash 5, obviously, and then the cancelization of it. But specifically now we get them. I mean, here's the thing. Crash, I actually think, okay, would it have worked back then? The answer is you don't really know. Odds are probably worse than better. But the thing is, Crash and Sonic, and you think about Sonic's success, and you think, man, they're actually very closely related, right? You think about those two characters. You think about, a wide cast of characters. Could you imagine Coco and Cortex and Tiny Tiger and Dingo Dial? Can you imagine? Because, you think about Sonic, and I mean, they've kind of done that too. You've had mainly heroes, and you've got, Jim Carrey, basically one villain, but you've had this rotation and this expanding cast. You've had humans be involved, so that would be an interesting one with Crash, but it would work. Actually, I do think it would work. You have somebody that's kind of nutty or something. I don't know how you describe Crash. You have him that I think would kind of be fun, to see in a movie form, and you have a wide cast of allies as well as villains, right, that you can kind of throw in and see how it goes. So I don't know. I would love to see it, to be honest with you, and I think a post-Sonic movie world, it would work. The issue is you can't even make a game off of it nowadays without it be considered a failure, so obviously it's not going anywhere. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and hope to see you all on the next one.